You need to really, really understand at a deep level what's about to happen. I put emergency because I want you to pay attention. I want you to listen to this video all the way through. Now, you're probably watching this video because your mind and awareness is open to the possibilities of what could be happening within the financial system. There's a radical transformation in the financial system, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now, Trump is giving you hint after hint after hint. And I'm going to show you what he posted on Sunday. And then I'm going to break down the intricacies of what is actually happening. Yes, Trump is going to bring in a ton of wealth on the back end of this year, 2026, 2027, 2028. He will go down is one of the greatest economic presidents in the world. But you need to understand the other side of this. Okay. He wants a weaker dollar. A weaker dollar is what you've been trained to store your money in. A weaker dollar means that every single dollar in the system, every single dime you get paid in is someone else's debt. Your income is another man's debt. One man's assets is another man's liability. One man's liability is another man's asset. There is no way around this. So you have to educate yourself at a deep level how to transmute as the dollar weakens. When they start printing money, he's going to print more money than in history. But his goal is to grow his way out of this economy, which is going to bring tons of cash into your pocket, tons of growth into your pocket. But remember, the cash coming into your pocket is what? It is inflationary. When they print with low interest rates, which I'm going to show you, he wants to bring rates down to 1% to 2%. You need to understand how to transmute this. And I'm going to show you why Trump is so bullish on Bitcoin and why the billionaires are bullish on Bitcoin and why 95% of supply is gone and 95% of the public does not have exposure to it. On this channel, we go deeper. This isn't about hype. This isn't about get rich quick. This is about rewiring your brain so that your family will never have to work for money again. So I posted this morning off of Trump's Truth Social tweet. Let's read his tweet first. Please get a pen and paper out. And then on the back end, I'm going to share with you how I've navigated it. I'm going to peel back the curtain. I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing. Now, you need to do your own research. This is not financial advice. I'm only giving you exactly what I do. That's how I teach. I go forward. I make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I build safety. I come back and I share with you exactly what I'm doing. I peel the curtain back. Okay. So Trump tweeted this 13 hours ago. For all cost-cutting Republicans, of which I am one, remember, in capital letters, you still have to get reelected. That's like a threat. Don't go too crazy. We will make it all up. That's the key line. 10 times. We said times 10 with growth more than ever. Okay, let's read that line again. I want you to understand the impact to you. Okay, we will make this all up times 10 with growth more than ever. What this means is, well, let me read my response. This is a clear warning. I am getting my deflating US dollars into deflationary assets like Bitcoin and XRP. Know the game before they flip the money printer back on and slash interest rates. By the time the masses wake up, it will be too late. Okay, let me make it very simple for you. Let's break it down. Okay. He is going to be the greatest economic president. He is going to turn the printing machine on full blast. What happens when you print money with nothing backing it? Okay. It inflates the US dollar. He wants a weaker dollar. What is Trump's family in? Real estate and now massively in crypto. So does a lower interest rate, does that help the Trump family or does it hurt the Trump family? It helps them. Okay. People are going to be refinancing, buying more real estate. But what the general public is going to do, the unsuspecting public that doesn't have financial literacy and is stuck in a materialistic American society of greed, is what we will do is we'll buy bigger boats, we'll buy bigger houses, we'll buy nicer cars. We will, as soon as interest rates go down, we'll lend more. We'll borrow against our future self in a weaker dollar that is inflationary. And you're going to end up catching the ball as we go into hyperinflation going into 2029. And by that time, going into 2030, the great reset happens. The middle class gets wiped out. The wealthy are stacked in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, real estate, gold, silver, all these things that have been here forever. And the new asset class, which is cryptocurrency, which is digitized gold. We're going to have a Bitcoin treasury. There's going to be a sovereign wealth fund. And those who hold the gold, those who hold the Bitcoin, and those who hold things like XRP, which are deflationary, will be the ones who run the world. That's how it's going to go down. I'm very, very clear on that. Okay. So let's go a little bit further in this. Okay. So that's what he posted on True Social. So guys, he's not messing around. It is going to happen. He is going to explode this economy. But here is what he is doing. Listen to what he says about Bitcoin.
Bills passed in the next few months?
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else has.
Boom. What he just said is critical. Write this down. He said when the stock market went down and everything else went down, crypto went down way less. That woke the largest asset managers in the world up. It is responding as a hedge against a deflating dollar. So they're like, whoa, trust me, it is a new infrastructure, your financial system. You cannot convince me any different. Okay. I am convicted on this, that this is going to be our future.
As a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term, I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent.
We just told you. Well, he was gone. Remember when he left, he said he's a dollar guy. He's not a crypto guy. Well, he was gone. His sons are like, Pops, we're taking all this wealth on. We need to get into Bitcoin. We need to get in crypto. He's got in years ago. BlackRock, 2023, flipped the script.
And the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have I have kids and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And, you know, if we didn't have it, China would. Okay.
But, I mean, he's literally telling you. He's like, guys, Bitcoin, crypto. He mentioned in his True Social tweet, remember? Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, and ADA. Okay. Now, here's where it gets into the financial literacy and financial education. Trump says he wants interest rates cut to 1%. Would love if Powell would resign. Okay. May we not get them in July. Okay. If Powell goes again and says no in July, you are going to get rate cuts by September. Think about this. Trillions of dollars are going to flood into the economy. The China deal signed. I told you guys, July, August, pay attention. China deal signed. Other countries are coming on board. The tariffs are going to bring tons of wealth into America. As soon as they slash these rates and this big, better bill, the BBB, gets passed, boom, they are going to start printing money. Trump is going to grow his way out of the economy. He's going to grow GDP faster than debt. Debt is going to, this is what what his tweet's all about. Listen, Republicans, he's saying to them, like, don't mess around, guys. Let this printing machine fly. Let's monetize this debt and let's stack Bitcoin. Let's create the sovereign wealth fund. Okay. It is going to be the greatest economic president in the world and in history. But guys, everything in nature has a wave of energy. There's nothing that has a straight line. What goes up must come down at some point. And he's going to hand this off to the next president, whoever that is. And there's going to be probably hyperinflation. Okay. You can't just print in a non-backed society. Whoever's holding the assets is going to be the one that wins. Whoever's holding the inflationary dollar is going to be the one that loses. Okay, so we're going to listen to Anthony Pompliano. Please get your pen and paper out. He's interviewing this guy. This is really important to tie this all together around crypto. crypto and Bitcoin.
One of the things that is kind of an overlay on top of all of this is obviously monetary policy. We see M2 money supply growing. The Bitcoiners are yelling and screaming out of excitement that Bitcoin is going to go up a lot because money supply is growing. The government seems to, at least this administration, have had some secret meeting where they all came together and they said, Jerome Powell, he's the target. And now we see tons of them publicly coming out and applying immense pressure on the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. Now, I happen to agree that interest rates should be cut, but put that aside for a second as to what they actually should do or should not do. It feels like the government pressure is a important story that is not really being talked about nearly as much. And, I don't know what your opinion on this is, but when Trump in his first term did this, when Biden did this, now Trump's doing it again, I've always called out and said, look, it's important that the Fed is independent, but let's be serious here. It's kind of like, you get called to the principal's office and there's likely to be, humans involved and they do succumb to the pressure to some degree. Is that kind of how you read the situation?
Yeah, I think, the one thing we've learned about Donald Trump, if he keeps saying something over and over and over again, I would incorporate it into what's going to happen in the future.
Did you hear that? Guys, I'm telling you, what I just showed you, that True Social tweet, it is going to happen.
He has publicly been all over Powell. His staff, as we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, both Lutnick and JD Vance were out there. Bessent has been out there. The pressure is coming verbally from the people that are directly tied to him. But now you're getting into other things where they're talking about a new Fed chair and naming that person in September to have a shadow Fed there. And this becomes a big story. I think it's quite evident that they're continuing on a path. And I believe that the Fed should be cutting rates. And the reason I believe that is what I mentioned about the stock market, where there's a few companies that are benefiting significantly. There's a lot of small, tiny private companies that are doing well, but the majority of people in the country are not doing well. And this problem, we talked about the job situation. We talked about digital employees. What is the job of the Fed? To focus on containing inflation, where, again, if they want to raise rates 100 basis points, they can certainly do that. Shouldn't they be erring right now on the other side? If the job market is soft, which it is, I mentioned on a call I did today that the year over year non-farm payroll is now 1.08%. So there are 1.08% more people hired right now versus a year ago. That may sound like a big number. Obviously, when you're dealing with let's say 160 million people, that's approximately 1.6 million people that are added. But the problem with that is that number historically of only adding 1 million, that means we're entering a recession. So I think with where things are, that the inflation rate has given them the chance to cut rates. Yep. We had a negative GDP print in the first quarter. We're going to have a positive one in the second. But when you combine the two of them, you're talking sub 2% real GDP at a time when inflation is low. So I do believe the Fed should be cutting. I believe it's for the median voter. And I think what you saw with the election in New York this week and the types, the demographics of where the voting is, and what I've shown before, graduates and young people are really, really angry at the system. Forget all the things that people are getting into. I think it is very, very hard with the affordability side at where it is, which obviously can be impacted by lowering rates. I think where the job situation is competing with AI is a problem. And I think college graduates are having, for the first time in history, a really, really hard time of not only getting a job, but thinking that they're going to be able to work their way up the corporate ladder. So I think there's a growing mistrust and really anger towards all incumbent officials. And I think that's why Trump is going to continue to put pressure, because he wants rates lower, not just for that reason, but also because we have a debt problem that is dependent on rates moving lower on the front end.
Okay. I wanted you to watch that whole thing to really drill that down. So this is why Bitcoin treasury companies are taking off and what it means for mid-market private companies. Okay. So others like MicroStrategy, Tesla, Block, Coinbase, GameStop, many others are creating these treasuries. We created a treasury for our company. Out of 20% of our profit, we take 20% into Bitcoin, XRP, and our dividend ETF strategy. So we're creating cash flow by de-risking into things that bank off the volatile markets, which create us a large amount of cash flow. We're getting into Bitcoin and XRP. So we're storing some of our profits. Okay. It's really important. So in the boardrooms worldwide, the calculus boils down to risk management. heightened macroeconomic uncertainty and geopolitical volatility have undermined confidence in fiat cash, pushing CFOs, my CFO hence, towards scarcer, more portable assets such as Bitcoin. Okay. Present inflation averaging 4 to 5%, and most G7 economics since 2022 erodes the real value of corporate cash piles. Meanwhile, benchmark interest rates hover over near cycle highs, yet still trail CPI, creating negative real yields on traditional safe instruments. Research by Crypto.com notes that Bitcoin's fixed 21 million supply and transparent issuance scheduled make it increasingly attractive for hedge against the currency debasement and duration risk. Okay. So here's what I did at my family level. And we did this at a company level. So just imagine this at a company level. Okay. So I use Bitcoin as gold. Okay. Bitcoin is gold. This is very important. Let me talk about this first. Okay. They are going to slash rates. They are going to turn the printing machine on. You're going to have cheaper gas prices. You're going to have cheaper egg prices. You're going to have way more money in your pocket. What you don't want to do is you don't want to take that de-inflationary dollar that you're paid in someone else's debt and buy more debt. You don't need a nicer car. You don't need a bigger house. What you need to do is to take this new money back in your pocket, create a budget, create cash flow, get out of debt, and take that cash flow and do what we are doing and the elites are doing. They are stacking deflationary assets as the system transforms from 2025 to 2030. Bitcoin is going to be the most scarce asset in the world. Things like XRP, deflationary, are going to change the system. The elites are currently moving in from inflationary US dollar, and they're like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And they're moving over. But they're going to put a bunch more money in your pocket. But remember, one man's debt is another man's liabilities, and man's liabilities is another man's assets. That's the picture. You're on one side or the other. So it's time to grow up. It's time to get responsible as a man or the head of the household and get your shit together. You don't need a bigger boat. You don't need a nicer car. You don't need $100,000 truck if you make $60,000 a year. You need to get your shit together. You need to create a budget. You need to create cash flow. We need to humble ourselves and stop being materialistic and build wealth for our family. This is our opportunity right now, men and women too, but head of the household, this is your opportunity. He's about to give you a awesome opportunity to get more money in your pocket, and then follow the hints he's given you. He said, he's told us 3 times to buy now, buy now. The president of the United States has told you to buy now 3 times. And every time he told you, it went up. I'm telling you, the markets are going to fly on the back end of this year. But the problem is people are going to pull profits and they're going to buy stuff. It's all fleeting. You need to buy assets, not liabilities. You need to build cash flow, not cash. And you need to get protection and make sure that you responsibly understand how to leverage to buy more assets to repeat the process. Read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. Study the wisdom of King Solomon. That's exactly how I build my ecosystem. Okay. So Bitcoin, I'm never selling. It is a bank. Okay. Grows about 50% every year. That volatility will go down. It'll be like 50%, probably 30%, 20%, but it's going to be one of the greatest assets ever. It's beating every single traditional asset over the last 10 years. Okay. And people say you can't get wealthy with Bitcoin. That's an absolute lie. You just don't know how to properly leverage and buy cash generating assets. Cryptocurrency is not your savior. Don't just sit there and wait for crypto to go up. Build an ecosystem. Okay. So Bitcoin, I'm holding it. All other coins, altcoins, my XRP, my Solana, my HBAR, I'm holding 50% forever for legacy. Okay. And I'll leverage those as everything settles down. I'm exiting 50% if it hits my exit targets on the way up. I ladder out by using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. You can get 30 days for free in my bio or down below. I'm the co-founder and creator of that. We'll teach you how to do an exit plan. I exit on the way up. The only reason I exit this beautiful asset class is because I diversify. King Solomon, richest man in Babylon. I'm diversified across different asset classes. Okay. One thing that I do when I exit, first thing is I max fund my life insurance policies. Okay. That creates another point of leverage. I also continue to buy more cash flow. When I get cash flow from cash generating dividends, which is 10% of my overall wealth, because it's my highest risk strategy, which gives me the highest return. Okay. I'm using these volatile markets, things like MicroStrategies, Coinbase. Boom. I'm getting these dividends back in. And I'm de-risking back into deflationary assets like Bitcoin and XRP. So we have cash flow. The cash flow is transmuted into deflationary assets that have a fixed supply that continue to appreciate. When they appreciate, I pull profits. I max fund my policies to create a family bank, grow money tax-free and borrow tax-free. Okay, and also creating that protection on my principal. About 30% of my wealth is indexed or insured. And now I have leverage, which is 2 leverage components. I have a Bitcoin bank and I have an insurance bank. So we no longer have to rely on the system anymore. We have our own banks. Okay. I have lived below my means ever since. I lost everything in 2020 because of the pandemic. As my wealth has continued to increase every year, I did not increase my lifestyle. The lifestyle changes will probably come within the next 24 months because I've been so disciplined doing this. So now I'll be able to pay for the fun stuff and the lifestyle because I'll be able to take assets to buy the liabilities and the fun stuff that I want. But I stayed disciplined. I stayed consistent for 5 years, and I'm willing to do it for 20 years. It's all about the purpose. It's all about the legacy. It's all about the planning, and it's all about God, family, protecting your ecosystem at all costs and staying out of other men's business if you're too busy working on yours. So it's here, family. And that's why I put emergency. It is an emergency. It's an emergency for you and your family to wake up and develop financial literacy. Study the book, Richest Man in Babylon. Study the wisdom of King Solomon. Okay. Study Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Understand why Robert Kiyosaki's shouting from the mountaintops, Bitcoin, gold, they're deep in real estate. Why do you think Grant Cardone, a billionaire, just went into, oh, wait a minute, real estate and Bitcoin connected? Trump just told you he's been in Bitcoin for years before he became president. The smart money is moving into deflationary assets opposite the US dollar. And Trump told us he wants a weaker dollar. He's telling you, hey, I'm switching the system, guys. He's not switching the system. It has to change. He caught the ball. He caught a system that has more debt than it has income. The only way out of it is to grow. And so they're going to print a ton of money, but the money they get, they're going to put it into assets that are deflationary. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. Super excited about this. I mean, you should be excited about this. You should be dialing in. You have 2 cars, get rid of one. Get rid of both cars. Get a hoopty, man. Let's all humble ourselves. Let's call it what it is, man. America has trained us to be materialistic. It's trained us to be undisciplined. It's trained us to be lustful. And let's work on that, man. Let's get our shit together, man. I'm talking to you. Let's get our shit together. Let's do it together. Let's get our shit together. Let's start building a foundation of spirituality. Let's look at the wisdom of King Solomon and ask ourselves, and there's the other side of that. There's a dark side of that, the lust. Let's work to master these things. And let's rise together, man. This isn't about against anybody. He's giving you all the hints. It's not like they're, that's what I do like about Trump. He's like, hey, here you go. Buy now. I'm telling you what's coming. I'm going to print money. I'm going to lower interest rates. Hint, hint, hint. But what we do is, well, one of the greatest ways, and I know this for a fact, is to kill a man or a woman, is to pull the purpose out of them. We're purposeless. We go to school, we get a job, we get a 401k. Kids can't even get jobs anymore. They spend $100,000 on college. You're encouraging your kids to go to college and spend $100,000. They can't even get a job that pays them $30,000. I taught my daughter to invest at 18 years old. She's 21. She already has a fat portfolio stacked. She has her insurance policy stacked. She will be financially free by the time she's 30 years old. She's traveling the world every single month. She goes somewhere different. She's 21 years old, living her best life. Stop teaching our kids to live in this enslavement system and keeping them trapped just because that's what our parents taught us to do. It's not our parents' economy. It's not our grandparents' economy. It's dead. Their economy is dead. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're a baby boomer, but your economy is dead. You got to wake up. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go. If you need any support, I have all the resources down below. I've hooked you up with everything. Okay. I've showed you, I'm telling you what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. What did I say? When I'm doing what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, right? If you want to learn how to implement these types of things, we have resources for you down below. Okay. First, I have Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. You get 30 days for free. That's all of them are my companies. So Merlin is an exit strategy. We literally teach you how to do an exit strategy. Okay. I have the 3T Warrior Academy. You'll see it down below. We've helped 11,500 people get their shit together. And if this is all confusing to you, we tactically break it down and show you what we do. We don't give you a fish. We teach you how to fish. And then we have our Freedom Insurance. I'm the CEO of Freedom Insurance and the owner of Freedom Insurance, where we can help you understand how how to properly set up a cash value life insurance, how to set up family banks, how to set up the bank on yourself system, how to do things like premium finance, all these different things. We have amazing ecosystem for you to do things the right way. And that's down below, and that's a free consultation. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a great day. God bless you.